So this is my task 3. I'm here detecting gestures with video and I'll be replicating it on um, the robotic arm. So there are basically two Python files I'll be explaining here. One is to train the model and another one is for detecting using that trained model and replicating it. This training model is done on my laptop, and the detection and replicate script will be running on Raspberry Pi. So here for training model we need these CV2, NumPy and TensorFlow library and OS library. Other libraries are pretty much redundant. I'll remove them in final submission. Here I'm just setting few directories such as main dataset directory with train, valid, and test for subfolders. In each train, valid, and subfolders, they will have another 10 folders corresponding to each of the gestures. Here we are setting those train, valid, and test paths which will be required. So to train the model, will require all these training data set and what class it corresponds to. So before going forward, I'll show you my data set. So I've gathered data set from some friends of mine, my family, and some colleagues in the class. So I have around 8 people helping me with the data set. So let's say there is one data set. One person has in total 10 data set, and each single gesture will have around 200 images. So as I've shown you here, let's say OK gesture of one person will have another 200 images of OK. So this is for like one person, and each folder, each of these separate gestures have 200 different set of images. So since there are 10 different gestures, so only one person has around 2000 images. So in total, I have 2000 into 8 in data set different images. Out of these, I'm using around 13,000 images for training and remaining for testing and validation. So using that data set, we'll create some batches, train batches, valid batches, and test batches. We are using this image data generator function method from this TensorFlow Keras pre-processing image module. So what this data generator does is whenever we are training, we'll be training the model. It will take an image from that given directory, pre-process it as per required. Maybe it will rotate the image. It may flip the image horizontally or vertically and give the image to the neural network input, pass it through the net, get the output. It will check the output if and train according to what output is required. So this is what our image data generator. So what basically image data generator does, it gets image from the data and directory and pre-processes it and gives it to and create batches. So if you see here, image data generator, we set a rotation range of 90. So every time the image is taken, it will be rotated to a different angle from 0 to 90 degrees, and it can even flip horizontally or vertically. It will need to be before passing the image to the neural net, it will need to be pre-processed. So here we will be using neural net, which is available in the Keras library. So it will we are pre-processing the way a mobile net wants it to be. So we're using the pre-process input for processing the images, which is available in mobile net module. And here we are setting the directories as train paths and giving a target size to be 224 by 224. This target size will be required the same size that of our input model net input uh, of our neural net model. I'm creating a batch size of 32. So similarly, we are creating another batches of valid batches and test batches. Here we won't be using any test batches right now, but we'll need to, while training, we'll need train and valid batches. And here now we are getting with this statement, we get the mobile net neural net model and we save it in the model. If we check the summary of this mobile net model, it has 10,000 1,000 outputs in the original net model, but we only require 10 in the output. That's why we do not take the last 10 layers of the mobile net model. We just last six we avoid the last six layers and take all the other layers and save it in X, and then we declare our own output of 10 neurons, since our gestures are only 10, and create our own model with input layers as the mobile neural net model, and have it will have 10 neurons in the output as per required. So once the module is built, we will train the module as compile the module first with a learning rate of 0.0001 with loss of categorical cross entropy. If there are only two classes, we can even use another another loss function. Here we are setting metrics to accuracy, and once this is compiled, we will call the fit method. So fit is nothing but the train where we train our model. So fit will have X and valid data set. Actually, usually it does have X, Y. X denotes input test input image, and Y represents its corresponding class. But since we are using this image data generator, it creates its training batches such that it has its image and its class in the same variable. So we just we here we don't need the y to train the model. So here we give the x as the image, and it will train the model accordingly and give validation as valid batches. Epochs here I'm setting as 150 because each epochs a new data set will be generated randomly with this a random function. And so every time let's say the same image, it will be maybe rotated, maybe horizontally or vertically flipped, rotate by some different angle, so we can get different range. um, like it should be, the model should be generalized to be able to predict another any of the similar required output. Once the model is trained, we will save the model as .h5, but here we are saving as model h5, but later on we'll process it to a TF flight. Okay, so once this model is trained and it's saved, it will be used this model will be used in detection and replicate of Python 5. Since we are using Raspberry Pi, computational power required for this Keras models is way high and it lags too much. So what we'll do here is we'll convert this .h5 model to a TF-Lite model. TF-Lite model is same as a H5, same model, but it requires less computational power and is a bit faster than H5. Steps for converting it to from H5 model to TF-Lite is can be found on the TensorFlow website, and it is very simple. So after I convert it to a TF-Lite model, I have used it in my this main file. So before going into this function, this file, this main detect and I replicate, I'll need to show you the hardware I'm using. Here I'm using a Raspberry Pi with RPi 2 version 2, and here I'm using a PCN 9685 module. This module I'm using to control all the motors which are inside here. I'm using this because these are servo motors and required require a frequency to be controlled, and Raspberry Pi doesn't have enough frequency ports to control each individual motor, and it might even damage the Raspberry Pi. That's why I'm using this here. Um, this PCA module uh, requires a I2C communication with a Raspberry Pi. So we'll be setting that here as setting it here. Okay, so going back to the code, this here we are using these libraries are required. OS, OpenCV, time is not very much required, but still we are using um, NumPy, TensorFlow. The main three libraries here we are using for motor control are BusIO, Board, and Adafruit. BusIO and Board IO, here we get the information of the I2C buses for communication with that module, and Adafruit, here this package defines many methods which can be used to control the motor. So I've created a class here which will be used for controlling the motor. So once the class is initialized, there are these set of variables. So there are variables for each different finger. So index, middle, ring, thumb, little, or fist. So these variables will have value ranging from 0 to 180. So degrees we want to give it to. And frequencies, what frequency we want the PCA module to be running at. And these F1, F2, F6 modules are actual channels used for controlling the motor. This object channel, these methods are available in this Adafruit library. You're just using it. And F1, F2, F till F6 each corresponds to each finger. Uh, why this is separate is because these finger names will have values from 0 to 180, but these values cannot directly be passed to the motors or PCA, a module to control the motors. It requires a little bit calculation before we pass it. So after calculation is done, then we'll pass these values to these variables. So um, that is this is the basic. This class contains this write mode method. So what I'm doing here is whenever write mode will be called, so it will be the indication that all the fingers of angles of the fingers are set, and we have to pass mm, those angles to the motor. So, so since this it will require a little bit of calculation, so here we will be doing the calculation and setting those values. So we will get here will what we do is get the, let's say, the finger value, finger angle, and we'll call this class this another method in this class which will calculate a value. What it does is, here if you see, this is the method. It will check if the angle is less than 0. If it's 0, it will set the angle as no. If the angle is less than 0, it will set as 0. If the angle is greater than 180, it will set at 180. And once this is set, if the angle is in between range from 0 to 180, it will do some calculations with this formula and return the value, which can be written to the PCA module, which will reflect the required angle on the fingers. So this is what write mode and calculate value does is. Set frequency is similar, like we can set different frequency we want to control our motors here, but we initially set it, but uh, once we set the frequencies, we do not change it in later part of the code. So there are apart from these, there are some different methods like 0, 1, 2, 3. Here we are just setting each gesture values. So each gesture will have some different angles for each different finger. So if we call this method, it will set those values to the finger. This is what simply it does. There are a few helper functions which I have created. This get frame says when we pass a frame to this function, it will return us the region of interest, our original frame with region of interest we required. The region of interest will be in a blue box. Okay, so this preprocess function is, I previously said, before passing it to our image to the neural net model for training or prediction, it requires to be preprocessed. We use the same preprocessing function as used for training. Predict here, we pass the image and the model details and get the output data. Sorry, predicted data. Change brightness. Here I'm using this function because I've noticed that when I test my module with my laptop camera, it does predict better and the brightness is different. But same Python script, if I run it on my Raspberry Pi, the images are quite darker and the prediction fails by a lot. So that's why I've created this change brightness, which will increase the brightness a little bit for a better prediction. So once this is done, there are two main setup and main function. So whenever once it is in main, it will call this setup function. Setup function is nothing but it gets the values, gets the information of bus IO, I2C bus available on our Raspberry Pi I2C bus. Require is SD and SCL, clock and data pins, the information of those pins, and this information will be passed into our PCA method, which is available on our from this PCA module given by the Adafruit. And with this information, we create an object and of our required hand class, which was discussed earlier, where we can set the angle values and pass these angles to our motors. We set the frequency 60 and set it initial right. If if the fingers are completely open, and the setup is completed, we can tell okay the motor and everything is pretty much working fine, and then we can move on to a main detection and replication part. Here we have to previously we had this .h5 module file we used for which we trained and saved. But as previously I told, H5 takes too much computational power and are slower, so we converted to TF-Lite. So loading those TF-Lite files, this is the method. We use this load it in one variable, locate the weights and get the input and output details and save it. And whenever we have to predict an image or classify an image, we pass these values to this function and it will predict and give us the results. So if once the interpreter like the TF-Lite model is loaded, we will set up the video camera. Here the video camera is available at 0. So it is loaded. We'll go into the loop to get the live video and predict and replicate it. So here this read gets us the frame, and if return is 0, which means either there is no camera at port 0, then it will just break from the loop. And okay, so let's consider, so now we have our camera input. So what we'll do is get frames, as in we'll get the original frame and our region of interest. We'll change the brightness of our region of interest and pass it to pre-processing, where it will pre-process our region of interest frame and according to our required neural net model. Once it is pre-processed, we will pass it to get predict, where we'll get the prediction where this pre-processed image will be passed through the neural network and we'll get the output prediction. Labels range are these all the labels we will get those which are corresponding label from the prediction it has predicted. Once it has predicted, it will be saved in gesture, and that gesture will be printed. So what currently it is the neural net model is predicting, and it will be displayed on the window. The thing here I'm doing this differently is since it is a camera, it will be getting pictures every second, every maybe every millisecond, even faster. Um, so what this will do is if there is a sudden change in the gesture, or it for every frame there is mispredict happens, or any um, there are for every frame there are different gestures detected. It might pass those gesture values to the motor, and like every second, every millisecond, it will be a different angle it might want to rotate, and it might damage our motors. So we want to avoid it. So here what I'm doing is, if the gesture is not as if it is a new gesture, it won't show it immediately. It will wait for 5 frames. If that same gesture is retained for consecutive 5 frames, then it will say, okay, this gesture is predicted properly. Let's say this gesture is stable. Now we will predict this, replicate this gesture on our hand. So this is what this does. It counts the predicted gesture. If once it goes beyond 5, it will set those angles of the corresponding gesture and then write it to the motors. So this is what it is, this entire code does. So now we'll run this one. So now I have downloaded the code to my Raspberry Pi. I'll be running this code. If you can see, this directory contains my main file as shown previously, and it contains this mod1.tflite. This mod1.tflite contains a neural net model, and I'll be running this script with this command. It takes a bit time to load the TensorFlow library and set the ports as well. Once it is done, we'll get a notification saying setup completed, as you see, and model will load it, and even all the fingers are this. So now let's see. Here currently it is detecting thumbs up. Now we'll give it 5 here. So now it is detecting 5 properly. I'll give 4. 4 it is already detecting properly. Or 3. Okay, so 3 doesn't detect. Okay, so yeah, it takes some rotation to get the 3 to be detected properly. It seems 3 is not properly trained. The model is not properly trained to detect the 3. Let's say 2. Yeah, 2 is detected properly, but there's error with, you can see 2. Yeah, 2 is detecting properly. Then let's say 1. Yeah, 1 is also getting detected properly. Let's say 0. 0 is also detecting properly. But just this thing. Currently, 1 is getting detected properly, but many times it doesn't get properly detected. So I'll be telling what I'll be doing next. So let's say thumbs up is detecting properly. Let's say Spider-Man. It is also getting detected properly. Let's say rock. Yep, rock is also detecting properly. Let's say okay. Okay also gets detected properly. So there is this problem with motors, that these motors sometimes uh, okay, I'll just show you this. Um, these wires slips from their ring and get into, if you can see this one, uh, this wire should be rounded from this part. this side, like these, but it is not, and it is getting, it is not tensing up at as it should be. If you can see, it is getting this way. So, which is why the corresponding finger, this finger, is not lifting it to the complete part. So every single time I need to set this up so that it will at least try to get the full rotation properly. Let's say 0, and here, if you see now. So let's say again, okay. Okay is detecting properly, and now all the fingers are going up now. So that is this thing. So as you have seen, there was a huge FPS drop due to it takes too much process computation power to predict what was the input image. And also there were a few, not just a few, there were quite many errors. So that's why I created a confusion matrix to get which gestures are getting incorrectly detected as what, and to try to reduce those errors. So I used a Jupyter notebook to um, create a confusion matrix. Jupyter notebook is just an extension of Python. It is a bit easier, and we can test all the all the steps properly. So similarly, we used all these OSCV2 TensorFlow libraries. Apart from these, we use um, Pandas, Seaborn, and Matplotlib to plot the confusion matrix. Here, as previously shown, we use the getPredict preprocess image and get the input set the neural net, and then here I'm just creating a array confusion matrix and set it to be a 0. And once it is set to be 0, here I'm just simply um, getting I have created a test folder. In that test folder there are around 200 images of each different gestures, and like in each different subdirectory of separate class. So once it predicts something, so I'm assigning um, each prediction to some different um, I'm assigning each prediction to each different array. So once it is has done prediction, it prints out the confusion matrix. Since this is not got visualization, I've used this um, Seaborn module to show my confusion matrix. The left side shows actual and bottom shows the predictor. If you can see, 0 and thumbs up are predicted very nicely, and rock is halfway there. But there is a huge error while detecting OK with thumbs up. It detects OK as thumbs up, and if you see, there is a huge mispredict with rock. For rock, whenever rock is detected, it is either probably 1, 2, or 3, or even Spider-Man. So, so there is a huge errors in detection. So my next steps are I'll be doing as it as a two-step detection. What a two-step detection is. So my main neural net model is will detect one, will predict one thing, will predict one gesture, and once that gesture is detected, and there will be another set of neural net models which will be trained for different gesture if different gestures detected, and depending on that gesture, it will um, try to find which one actually was given as an input. So let's say here, consider, let's say 5. Okay, no, it doesn't have much. So let's say here, okay. So first neural net model detects okay, but we have seen from this confusion matrix, okay can either be 1 or 2 or 3 or any four or even five okay and or even wrong. So if the main model detects something as okay, a new model is trained with these only these set of inputs. I will be omitting this 0, 4, um, maybe rock, but I'm not probably rock and 1, because there is a huge error with 2 and 3 and f- um, and yeah 5. So I'll be training a new model for OK with only 2, 3 OK and 5 images. So it will give output between only these range. Why is this? Because it has been detecting, if a first model detects something as OK, it can either fall in between in this range. And the new netter model, the second step, what we'll do is take that image, and it since it will be trained according to only these images, it will try to find fit which was actually given. So we can this will probably help us reduce the errors and give a better result. So for this, I'll show you a new code. I'm training a few 10 different new models for like the second step. If this step is if this gesture is detected, it can either fall between some different set of gestures as shown in the confusion matrix. So what we do is, here as previously training the first model, we get this CV2 NumPy TensorFlow and OS. And here I create 10 different dataset training paths and valid paths for each different gestures. Set those train batches and valid batches differently. So once this is executed, you can see it finds two classes for 0. Okay, so let's see. For we were considering the five, I think. Okay, we were considering the okay gesture, and it was predicting around four of them um, to be wrong. So here we have created a we have created a data set only with these four classes, which are 4 to 5 classes, which will be if you can see, it is detects as 5 classes for okay. So this is setting it up. Once this train batches and valid batches are set, we create 10 new neural net models according to different outputs required. So the 0 will require only 2, since it is predicting only few of them wrong. Let's say 0 is predicting 1 and 0 wrong. So 0 neural net model, it will be trained with 0 and 1 images. One was predicting pretty much fine. It wasn't actually, one wasn't predicting anything wrong. It was not predicting itself correct. So we do not train for one. So but for two, we'll be training for another three set of images, like 4, 3, 2, and it will have three outputs as shown here. So like 2 will have 3. Similarly for each, it has detect each different gesture it has detecting incorrectly. And similarly, we compiled all those models and fit. Training all these 10 models took me around 24 hours. As you can see, I trained them for 100 epochs, and after each epoch, with Verbose 2, it gives us information about what was the loss, what was the accuracy. This validation loss and validation accuracy as are the validation data sets we created. We can uh, check if it has, or if our model is overfitting or giving giving some errors, like while the training, it might um, it might show that our training accuracy is 100%, but the validation accuracy might be less because it is not getting generalized, it is overfitting or something. So this purpose to gives us all this information. If you can see, for each epoch, for only two outputs, let's two gesture, it takes about 40 seconds, and let's say the second one had about three gestures. It it takes about mm, uh, 45 seconds. If we increase number of outputs, it will take and since the outputs are changing, number of outputs are changing, the data set is also increasing, and time taken for each epoch also varies. So training all these models took me around 24 hours, and once those models were trained, I have saved all those models. So just some time ago, this got finished, and now I'll be doing that two-step process after this. So I'll be testing all these models, and I'll write a code with first prediction and second prediction, um, a two-step process, and try to create a confusion matrix, and hopefully it will have reduced the errors. I'll update you once it is done. Thank you.